November 11th, 2022. One of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world filed for bankruptcy. More than 1 million users suddenly found themselves unable to access their funds. An estimated $8 billion hole had been exposed in the company's finances. And the man at the center of it all was watching his empire collapse in real time. Just days earlier, FTX had been valued at $32 billion. Investors trusted it. Celebrities promoted it. Politicians listened to its founder. And millions of customers believed it was one of the safest places to store their money. From the outside, FTX looked unstoppable, a symbol of legitimacy in an industry often criticized for chaos and speculation. The company had become one of cryptocurrency's greatest success stories. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding, one that very few people could see, and even fewer understood. The most shocking part: the collapse wasn't triggered by a cyber attack. It wasn't caused by a sudden market crash, and it didn't begin with a hacker stealing customer funds. Instead, it started when a journalist examined a balance sheet. What that balance sheet revealed would trigger one of the most dramatic corporate collapses of the modern era. A collapse that would eventually lead to criminal convictions, billions in losses, and a question that still lingers today. How did so many intelligent people fail to see it coming? To answer that question, we need to start with the man who built the empire. Long before he became one of the most recognizable figures in cryptocurrency, Sam Bankman-Fried was known for something else: his intellect. Born in California to two law professors, he grew up in an environment where logic, debate, and analytical thinking were part of everyday life. From an early age, he developed a reputation for approaching problems differently. Friends and classmates often described him as intensely rational, the kind of person who viewed the world through probabilities, numbers, and systems. After graduating from MIT with a degree in physics, Bankman-Fried entered the world of quantitative trading. He joined Jane Street, one of the most respected trading firms on Wall Street. There, he learned how modern financial markets operated, how opportunities were identified, how risk was measured, and how fortunes could be built from tiny advantages invisible to most people. But unlike many traders chasing wealth for its own sake, Bankman-Fried promoted a different philosophy: effective altruism. The idea was simple: earn as much money as possible, then use that wealth to help as many people as possible. To many observers, it made him seem different. Not just another ambitious executive, but someone pursuing a larger purpose. Over time, that image became central to his public identity. A billionaire who reportedly slept on beanbags, a founder who drove modest cars, a financial prodigy who claimed he wanted to give most of his wealth away. Whether people agreed with his philosophy or not, the story was compelling, and people wanted to believe it. But behind the public image, another story was beginning. A story that started 2 years before FTX even existed. A company called Alameda Research. Founded in 2017, Alameda was a cryptocurrency trading firm. Its business model was straightforward: buy assets in one market, sell them in another, profit from the difference. At the time, cryptocurrency markets were still immature. Prices often varied dramatically between exchanges. Those inefficiencies created opportunities, and Alameda moved quickly to exploit them. The firm became known for aggressive trading strategies and its willingness to operate where others hesitated. Over time, it grew into one of the most influential trading firms in crypto. But as Alameda expanded, Bankman-Fried became increasingly frustrated with the exchanges available to traders. Many were unreliable, poorly designed, and difficult to use. According to him, the industry needed something better. So in 2019, he launched a new company, FTX. At first, it seemed like a natural progression. A trader building the exchange he wished existed. Investors loved the idea. Customers embraced the platform, and growth came quickly. Then it accelerated. Within a few years, FTX transformed from a little-known startup into one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. Money poured in. Users flooded the platform, and some of the most powerful investors in Silicon Valley rushed to participate. By 2021, FTX had become one of the hottest companies on the planet. Its valuation soared into the tens of billions. Its founder became one of the richest people in the world, and the company seemed to be everywhere. Major sports sponsorships, celebrity endorsements, national advertising campaigns. At one point, the home arena of the Miami Heat was renamed FTX Arena. Tom Brady promoted the company, Stephen Curry promoted the company, and respected venture capital firms invested hundreds of millions of dollars. To the average customer, FTX no longer looked like a startup. It looked like an institution, a trusted one, and that's exactly what made the next part of the story so dangerous. Because while the public saw a rapidly growing empire, very few people were paying attention to the relationship that sat at its center, the relationship between FTX and Alameda Research. Officially, they were separate companies, separate operations, separate purposes. But according to later investigations, the reality was far more complicated, and hidden within that relationship were the first clues that something wasn't quite right. Most people simply didn't know where to look. By early 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried seemed to be everywhere. He appeared before lawmakers, spoke at major conferences, and was increasingly portrayed as one of the most responsible voices in cryptocurrency. As other crypto companies struggled through a brutal market downturn, FTX appeared strong, stable, even generous. When firms began collapsing, Bankman-Fried positioned himself as a rescuer, a white knight stepping in to support an industry in crisis. To many observers, it strengthened his reputation. While others were fighting for survival, FTX appeared to be thriving, but appearances can be deceptive. Behind the scenes, questions were beginning to emerge. Questions about Alameda Research, questions about risk, and questions about a relationship that seemed unusually close. Officially, Alameda was simply a trading firm, one participant among many operating within the FTX ecosystem. But according to later bankruptcy investigations, Alameda reportedly enjoyed privileges unavailable to ordinary customers. Years after the collapse, John J. Ray III would reveal that Alameda had what he described as a secret exemption from certain risk management controls. In simple terms, Alameda wasn't always playing by the same rules as everyone else. At the time, however, almost nobody outside the company knew, and that's what made the situation so dangerous. Because when risk is hidden, confidence can continue growing long after the foundations have begun to weaken. Meanwhile, conditions across the crypto industry were deteriorating. Prices were falling, confidence was fading, and billions of dollars were being erased from the market. Several major crypto firms collapsed. Others found themselves under enormous financial pressure. Alameda Research was no exception. According to later reporting, the trading firm suffered significant losses during this period. Losses that created a problem, a very expensive problem. The question was simple: where would the money come from? According to prosecutors and later trial testimony, customer deposits from FTX were transferred to Alameda Research. Funds that many customers believed were sitting safely on the exchange were allegedly being used in ways they never authorized. At the time, none of this was public knowledge. Customers continued depositing money. Investors continued praising the company, and FTX continued presenting itself as one of the safest businesses in crypto. The illusion remained intact, but only because the most important information was still hidden. That would change on November 2nd, 2022. On that day, a journalist named Ian Allison published an article for CoinDesk. At first glance, it looked like a routine financial story. But inside the report was a detail that immediately caught the attention of industry insiders. A large portion of Alameda Research's balance sheet appeared to be tied to FTT, the token created by FTX itself. The implications were unsettling. If Alameda's financial health depended heavily on a token linked to FTX, then the two companies might be far more connected than most people realized. Suddenly, questions that had existed quietly in the background moved into the spotlight. How financially stable was Alameda? How dependent was it on FTX? And if confidence in FTX disappeared, what would happen next? No one knew the answers, but confidence was already beginning to crack. Across the industry, traders started paying closer attention, investors became nervous, and competitors took notice. One competitor in particular, Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. Its founder, Changpeng Zhao, better known as CZ, had once been an early supporter of FTX. Now the relationship between the two men had become increasingly strained. Then came the announcement that changed everything. On November 6th, Zhao revealed that Binance intended to sell its holdings of FTT. The market reacted immediately. The price of FTT began falling, speculation exploded across social media, and fear started spreading through the crypto industry. For FTX, the timing could not have been worse, because customers were beginning to ask a question that every financial institution fears. Can I still get my money out? At first, withdrawals increased gradually. Then they accelerated. Then they exploded. Within days, customers attempted to withdraw approximately $6 billion from FTX. $6 billion. Not over months, not over weeks, days. Inside the company, executives were scrambling. The withdrawals kept coming. The pressure kept building. And confidence was evaporating by the hour. For years, trust had fueled FTX's rise. Now the loss of trust was threatening to destroy it. Soon, an estimated $8 billion shortfall could no longer be ignored. On November 8, 2022, Binance announced a non-binding agreement to acquire FTX. For a brief moment, it looked like a rescue had arrived. But once Binance reviewed the company's finances, it walked away. The rescue was over. The last remaining confidence vanished. On November 11, 2022, FTX filed for bankruptcy, alongside Alameda Research and more than 100 affiliated entities. A company once valued at $32 billion had collapsed in a matter of days. John J. Ray III, the restructuring expert who previously handled Enron, took control of the company. What he discovered shocked even him. In a court filing, he wrote, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls." Then came another shock. Approximately $473 million flowed out of FTX through what the company described as unauthorized transactions. Meanwhile, investigators turned their attention to the people behind the empire. Several senior executives eventually pleaded guilty to fraud-related charges and cooperated with prosecutors. Among them were Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, and Nishad Singh. In December 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas. Only weeks earlier, he had been celebrated as a visionary. Now he was facing criminal charges. In November 2023, a jury found him guilty on multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. The rise was complete. So was the fall. But perhaps the most interesting part of the story isn't what happened to Sam Bankman-Fried. It's what FTX revealed about trust. At first glance, FTX looks like a cryptocurrency story, a story about digital assets, trading platforms, and financial innovation. But the forces that destroyed FTX existed long before cryptocurrency. The technology was new, the psychology was not. Throughout history, some of the largest business failures have followed a familiar pattern. Success creates confidence. Confidence attracts money. Money attracts attention, and attention creates the illusion of certainty. Eventually, people stop asking difficult questions. Warning signs become easier to dismiss. Concerns are explained away, and skepticism begins to disappear. One of the most remarkable aspects of the collapse is how many intelligent people believed they were looking at something extraordinary. Major venture capital firms invested billions. Institutional investors conducted due diligence. Celebrities publicly endorsed the company. And millions of customers trusted it with their money. Yet somehow an estimated $8 billion shortfall remained hidden until it was too late. Why? Because trust and verification are not the same thing, and success has a way of making people less skeptical. When a company grows quickly, many assume that growth itself is proof of competence. When confidence increases, scrutiny often decreases. That's when risk becomes dangerous, because reality doesn't care about narratives. Eventually, fundamentals matter, always. Today, cryptocurrency continues to evolve. Markets have recovered, new companies have emerged, and innovation continues. But the shadow of FTX remains. Not because it was the largest failure in financial history, but because it exposed something timeless. Trust can build an empire, but without transparency, trust becomes vulnerability. Without accountability, trust becomes risk. And without scrutiny, trust can become the very thing that destroys everything it helped create. For years, the clues were there, scattered throughout the story. Visible only to those willing to look closely. Most people never saw them until it was too late, and perhaps that's the most important lesson of all. Every failure leaves clues. The question is whether anyone notices them in time.